Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports and Gaming. Good evening to those who are watching us on BWTM online, and for those watching you on my Facebook page personally tonight, hey, how you doing? I hope you're well. I don't usually do it on Facebook like this, but I know there's a lot of people within boxing on my page, so I thought, well, why not? I'll put this out there for them to watch so they can watch it afterwards. So shout out to you all that are doing a great job within the world of boxing. Okay, so tonight's topic. It's not good. So tonight's topic. So I'm very much reading off a script, but it's called Boxing Talk. It's time to clean up the swamp in boxing. This is the live chat, so welcome to it. As you all know, historically, I do kind of call things before they happen. And this is a new list of things that I think need to happen within the world of boxing. But I think for this particular broadcast, I'm talking for UK boxing. I'm not talking for American boxing because I know America's a lot bigger, and the structures within boxing across America I don't quite understand yet. Yes, Ruben, good to see you in the house. I don't quite understand all the structure in America, the boxing. USA boxing, I don't understand how they all work. So, but I understand British boxing a lot more. Well, I think I do anyway. So that's why I'm going to be doing this really specifically for British boxing. Some of it you can apply to world boxing. Some of it may never happen, and some of it should definitely happen as soon as possible. So I'll go for the list of them, and I'll explain each one. Then you can chip in and see what you've got to say about it. A little different. I'm not just going to be off ranting about a whole load of things. I'll just be point and then hear what you've got to say, point and then move on to the next point so I don't get sidetracked, which I kind of do get on these shows. First rule, first point of ranting and raving or point of discussion will be the first one rule for one brigade. Listen, there is a brigade of people within boxing, and a large brigade of people in boxing who have one rule for one person and another rule for another person. One rule for their favorite fighter, or if you want to get political, one rule for their favorite race of people, color of people, one rule for one area of people, and another rule for everybody else. This comes up yet again. Dillian Whyte is fighting this weekend, and we know that there's been some talk in the past of PEDs, a link to Dillian Whyte, and of course, what he got suspended for in boxing beforehand. That was also a situation where he got suspended, and people like to bang on about that all the time. They keep banging on about it. This one rule brigade people. You see, I don't mind. I haven't got a problem with people pull out situation and say, look, you know what, this guy should be boxing because of, and they say that and they keep it across the board real for everybody. But when you're inconsistent, and a lot of these people across Twitter and Facebook and on YouTube, you're not consistent. Your energy is funky. It's all over the place. One rule for one person, another rule for somebody else. Example, Tyson Fury, 1. Alexander Povetkin, 2. Let's put Tyson to one side a second. Alexander Povetkin and Luis Ortiz. 2 guys that got banged to rights for PEDs. Yeah, these 2 guys have fought for world titles. Luis Ortiz got 2 world title fights against Wilder. You have Alexander Povetkin, who's now fighting Dillian Whyte, was on our shows not too long ago fighting Hughie Fury. Now before that, he was fighting David Price. Another PED user, caught, banged to rights. I don't hear nobody talking about anything about Povetkin should get smashed tonight or smashed this weekend. But the same old brigade, it's Dillian Whyte, let's smash Dillian Whyte this weekend. I hope he gets smashed by a Povetkin that's fully PED'd up. I don't get this. I don't understand this, right? if you're gonna call somebody a PED user, then do it across the board. If one guy's has been caught banged to rights, then you go across the board with it. That includes Tyson Fury as well. I don't care how good a boxer is. I don't care how many records he's got. I don't care how many belts he's got. Ultimately, if you're gonna start mudslinging at people, then you need to follow. Hey, so you need to be able to. Here we go. Here comes the matchroom mouthpiece. Let's see what he's got to say. We call him the matchroom mouthpiece. Povetkin has had his fair share of stick from fans. He isn't being promoted as the marquee name for this fight. He's still on pay-per-view, isn't he? People are still paying for him, isn't he? Good evening. How we doing? Whereas any talk of White's previous PD incidents gets quickly brushed under the carpet and ignored by his promoters. Hello, Solo. Hold on a second. Povetkin, 3-time PD user. 3-time. 3 times, yeah? I don't hear anybody wanting to ban Povetkin from boxing. I don't hear anyone wanting to ban Povetkin from boxing. Jerome Muller, oh yeah, he should be definitely banned from boxing. This is a guy who's done it 3 times and still been allowed to come back and box. Canelo got caught with a beef and people made all sorts of excuses up for Canelo. Because he's a popular fighter and he's making a bit of dough, that's okay. But look at poor Liam Cameron. His career is over. And he didn't get caught 3 times with PEDs, did he? Good evening. So, what I'm saying is, give me consistency. So that's the first thing. We're going to clean up boxing. There needs to be consistency from our commentators. Consistency from those in power. Consistency. So that's the first one. So number 2. Clean the swamp up. Comment without consequence. A lot of people within boxing, a lot of them, are quite happy to be mouthpiece and open their mouth up and make comments, but not prepared to take the consequences for what they say afterwards. Right? And I think that when we start adding consequences to what people say more often or not, then it seems consequences only seem to come when certain... And if you watch it carefully, certain people like going on certain media outlets, and then when they go on those media outlets, they end up saying certain things. They think they can speak their mind, they can speak their truth, and before you know it, they're in trouble. They're either out of boxing, they're getting sued, or they're getting hated. When really, it isn't freedom of speech. You're not allowed to have a freedom of speech, and if you do speak on that channel, you know what's going to happen to you. Huh? Comment with consequences. That needs to happen all around. Do you understand? When you're making your comments on your YouTube channels and you say this is this and that is that and this is that, people will say afterwards, okay, you said that, be accountable for what you said at the time. Be accountable. The use of the word exposed without being exposed. You see, a lot of cats across the YouTube galaxy, the Twitter galaxy, Facebook galaxy, like to use the word, oh, that fighter got exposed. That fighter got exposed. Oh, that's okay. They get exposed. What about you? What about when you get it wrong? How many times have you got it wrong? How many times have you been exposed? It's all well and good saying the fighter got exposed, but what about you? What about your track record, your boxing CV? Let's have an open up of that. How many predictions have you got wrong? How many times have you stood up and made a prediction and made yourself look like an idiot? How many times have you turned around and said, you know what? I got that wrong. I got that wrong. Let's look at your predictions for the last year. The things you've been saying. Haven't you been exposed more than one occasion? Accountability. So these people that keep making all these predictions saying, this person got exposed, that person got exposed. If I were to run through your YouTube channel and the things you've said, I've been throughout my time on YouTube, I've always put my hand up and said, you know what? I didn't get that one right, you know? I didn't get that one right. You know what? Fair play to that fighter, fair play to that promoter, fair play to that manager. You keep it balanced that way. You keep it real and balanced. People kind of respect you more for that than just calling people exposed and not exactly yourself You know, and what happens when you pick these exposed fighters? What happens if you've been on a bandwagon of these guys and they get exposed? What happens then? All these girls who get exposed, and you've been banging the drum for them all the time. They're this, they're that, they're great, and they get exposed. Don't you get exposed as well for backing that fighter? Accountability. So the next one up. Let's see what's next up on the list. Yeah, backing hype trains, then going missing when it goes wrong. Interesting. Kind of coincides with what I said in the first video, the first comment about being accountable. When your fighter loses, when your fighter gets smashed to pieces, when that person you've been hyping up for so long gets absolutely destroyed, and you decide to go missing, what's all that about? And then when the next big fight comes up, you're back in YouTube comments again. But wait, well, what happened the last time? Where's the accountability in that? So this is about cleaning up boxing. If not clean up boxing, clean up the mentality around boxing. Okay. Next thing, this is a big one, and I think this could go global in terms of experts that only support the network narrative. Okay. Great point. It says here, make great point, Ingram. So far, too many people say Kawanaki got exposed just after the one loss. Well, I was telling you that if you fight with your face and you've got no defense in the heavyweight division, eventually somebody's going to hit you on it. And someone like Robert Helenius, who's far the superior boxer, it was target practice for Helenius. So that was someone that I'd warned you from the start. He ain't going far in the heavyweight division if he's got no defense. You can't all be Rocky Marciano. So Kawanaki was an accident waiting to happen. And you could see it. But thank you anyway. So, yeah. Experts that support the network narrative. Oh, God. You know who they are. You know who they are. That they will support side A. They will support the network fighter. They won't support the fight, but the network fighter. And that kind of coincides with the next comment I've got next to that statement, which is opinions talking rather than actual commentary. You can kind of put those in together, because when you watch boxing nowadays, particularly in the UK, the commentary is so biased because the person doing the commentating is the mate of the guy that's part of the network. So like, if you've got an MTK fighter on the bill, yeah, and you so happen to have a guy that is either mate MTK, or guy that's founded MTK, or guy that's put a lot of money behind MTK, or MTK are sponsoring that commentator, it's very difficult for the MTK commentator to then get on Sky and talk constructively about a fighter that's getting their ass handed to them. Do you understand me? It's very difficult for you to speak constructively or fairly about a fighter that you are connected to in a professional way. How can you commentate on that fairly without offending your stablemate? You just can't. Yes, Jermaine, where you been? Long time no see, bro. Where have you been? How can you commentate fairly? Now, your role as a commentator is to tell us what is going on in the fight. I should be able to close my eyes and trust you as a commentator to tell me what's going on inside the ring. You need to be giving me blow by blow commentary of what is going on. That's what I need to be seeing. That's what I need to be hearing. I don't need to be hearing that this is your mate, this is your cousin, this is your brother, this is your drinking partner. I don't need to hear all that stuff. I don't need to hear about the great wars you've had in sparring. I don't need to hear that. What I need to hear is commentary. Two guys are fighting, A and B, or let's not use A and B, E and F, going to use A and B because A and B now has got its own agenda behind it. ENF are fighting, or Blue Trunks and Red Trunks are fighting. If Blue Trunks lands a good shot, say Blue Trunks lands a good shot. If Red lands a good shot, let Red land a good shot. HBO were terrible for this, and the worst. When Manny Pacquiao used to fight, you've heard me say it times, when Pacquiao lands a punch, oh, Pacquiao, bang, Pacquiao over the left. And you're like, yeah, okay, but what about the other guy throwing punches? I remember Pacquiao was fighting Morales for the first time. Every time Pacquiao, oh, hard left hand from Pacquiao. When Pacquiao lands a left hand, it's brilliant. It's fantastic. But what about all the 5 or 6 punches that Morales is landing back on him? And again, subsequently, Morales won the first fight, yeah? Just the whole, even when Pacquiao was fighting Marquez for the 3rd or the 4th time and he got knocked out. And then the commentator afterwards, Jim Lampley, was crying. That's not professional. You're crying after a guy got knocked out. That is unprofessional. You understand? But it's just the way it is. Tell us your feeling on Sharon Courtney's loss to Rachel Ball. Have you ever heard me talk? Have you ever heard me mention her name on this channel? What about Jessica McCaskill becoming undisputed? Let's talk about that. Sky Sports are terrible at this. Swear they've had a Smith commentator on one of his brother's fights. Yes, that's terrible. How can you have commentary team, right, with your brother fighting and then asking your brother, the brother who's commentating, who do you think is going to win the fight tonight? What's that? You want family? You want family wars there? Come on. Just working, my brother. I hear you. Ruben says, commentary from the Genma One Marquez trilogy was the same. The commentary made it look like Manny was leagues better than One Manuel Marquez. Yes, absolutely. That is a perfect example. Manny Pacquiao so fast. Manny Pacquiao punches so hard. Manny Pacquiao, he's levels above Marquez. Manny Pacquiao puts combinations together. Manny Pacquiao is this. Manny Pacquiao is that. And that's what it was. And Manny Pacquiao benefited from that. And in many ways, it brainwashed many people. Do you understand? It brainwashed many people because many people, Manny Pacquiao was just. I'm not saying Manny Pacquiao wasn't a great fighter, but it was sometimes over the top because other guys were actually getting the better of Manny Pacquiao, and you wouldn't be giving those people credit. Then you come up with people who make stupid comments like Manny Pacquiao wanted Marquez to knock him out. Manny Pacquiao wanted Marquez to knock him out so that there could be a 5th fight. I mean, if you listen to some of the comments in the comment section, it's ridiculous. But anyway, I slightly divert to go back to my conversation I was having with you. Right, so we've just talked about biased commentary in boxing. That is part of the swamp that needs to be cleaned out. You need to have people, what I would have is commentators that are going to tell you what the fight's about. I want to know the facts and the figures. I want to know the boxing records. I want to know when they started boxing, why they started boxing, what the fight means to them, both fighters, and the strengths and weaknesses of both fighters. That's it. That's it. I don't want to hear about it's your brother that's fighting on the night. What do you think? Do you think he'll win the fight? I don't want to hear that. I want to hear clear cut so I can learn from you. Learn truth. I can learn honesty. I can learn about the fight game. I'm not learning anything about the fight game that's constructive. I'm learning about your opinions, and your opinions don't matter. Next. This is a big one. This is a huge one. And I think it's for people in the UK. 4th fight, Marquez took commentary out of the fight. Exactly. Cecilia Breakers looked like she had no ambition left, and McCaskill had all the hunger in that fight. Yes, my friend, please look at my pre-fight and post-fight for that. We're on a list tonight. I'm going to get through a whole lot. So I'm trying to stay on track tonight. Okay. This is a big one. People in the UK, please listen to this comment. Yeah, I'm ranting. Why am I shouting? Because I'm passionate. Forgetful memories about what a promoter says. It seems to me in the UK, that people are mesmerized by BS. The second-hand car room salesman, yeah, they seem to really. There are a lot of people in the UK. If there was no engine in the car and the car wouldn't start, and you saw the engine in the car wasn't there, they would still try and start the car even though there was no engine. That's the level of gullibility we have in the UK when it comes to listening to our promoters. One in particular. When a person outright lies. I remember this promoter once said to Carl Frampton, "You'll never get a world title shot if you leave us. You'll never get a world title shot." Well, Carl Frampton went and got a few world title shots after he left them. That's just one of many, many comments that this promoter makes that are just outrageous. But people still take him as the gospel. He's not the gospel. Just look at the history of what a person's saying and then tally up and say, well, you know what? You've had a history of lying. You've had a history of BSing. You cannot be trusted. So when you say what you say, I have to check this up. I have to find that this is, I mean, you know, you don't know how to break a fight down. You don't understand boxing itself in terms of matchups. You've got no clue about that. Yes, you're a promoter, apple and pears. That's great. But you don't know boxing. You don't know boxing. You shouldn't talk about boxing. You shouldn't talk about boxing. Z-list celebrity? Yeah, do that. But don't talk about boxing. Don't talk about breakdowns and fights. Because it's all BS. And you don't care about the fans. You don't care about the fans. Because if you tell about the fans, you tell them the truth. And tell them, you know what? My stable ain't that great. I don't really know what I'm doing promotional. I don't know what I'm doing managing these fighters. I don't really care for my fighters. I'll pay you on time and I'll pay you your money, but I'm going to throw you under the bus. All promoters lie. Yeah, all promoters lie. Okay, that's promoter's job is to promote, right? A promoter's job is to promote. That's what they've got to do. They've got a brand and they've got to sell that brand to the public. That's one thing. But when you start talking rubbish, when we clearly see that fighter is not that good, when you start labeling certain fighters with other fighters, oh, he's the Michael Nunn of the super middleweight division, and he's from the UK and he's only had 10 fights. He's the GGG of Newcastle, and the guy's not even fought anywhere near the top 30. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Because you actually get people on board. They buy tickets believing that guy is like GGG because I've seen GGG fight. And then what you do, you don't even build the fighter up properly. You stick them in and then they get railroaded. They get absolutely smashed to bits. So, you don't even build the fighter up correctly. So I don't quite understand why. I don't understand why that is. Really don't get it. And I understand it. So I know you are, like I said, you're the matchroom mouthpiece. So I guess you will always, you'll always defend certain things. So let's just look at a person's track record before we just kiss ass to everything that certain promoters say. Right? Let's just kind of sit back and look at things and don't allow people to lie so blatantly. Next thing. Trainer's resume versus trainer myths. Okay. This is another big one in boxing. One of the reasons why I feel that we have a, for the most part, uneducated society when it comes to boxing is because the TV or the promoters only work with certain trainers. They might not be the best trainers. And for the most part, they're not. They may get the best selection of fighters coming out of the amateur amateur out of amateur boxing, where Olympic gold medalist, world championship material, but that doesn't make them a great trainer. There are many trainers up and down the UK that are far better than the trainers that we keep seeing being rolled out over and over again. Almost like the Premier League, where you've got trainers, coaches that have been sacked, numerously sacked, and proven that they're not good enough at the level that they keep. You remember Ian Dowie? He was up and down the Premier League. He was at one club, then another club, another club. There's a few of them that just left one club, got them, went to another club, jumped from club to club to club to club. Not really good managers, and they always kept getting relegated, or their teams never did very well. This is the same thing in boxing. The same old names get pulled up, and they've been exposed over and over and over again of just being average trainers. Average trainers. Average trainers. Now, I'm not knocking them, but why are they getting the limelight when there are damn good trainers out there who not only break these fighters better fighters, would have better quality fights, and potentially would hold on to our belts a lot longer as world champions? Just saying. So this thing about, in terms of clean-up boxing, surprise, surprise. In terms of clean-up boxing or cleaner swamp-up in boxing, let's sort this trainer thing out. The resume of these trainers, what they've done in the past, who they've trained, and what they've achieved things with. And because I've had fame with one fighter, okay, Virgil Hunter had great fame with Andre Ward, yeah? Who else has Virgil Hunter did anything with? Adam Booth had great stuff with David Hayth. Well, what else has Adam Booth done? Dave Colwell had great success with Tony Bellew. Really, what else? And Tony Bellew, you know, did he train from amateurs? Did he train from the amateurs? I don't know. So, just because a person has success with one fighter, does that make them a great trainer? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But it certainly says that they can train. But can they use that across the board with other fighters? That's what I want to know. And that, when you could take your trade and you could train a guy and bring success with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fighters, then we know there's greatness in you. Or fighters that have long reigns as champions, and their fighter can adapt styles. And all their fighters. Oh dear. Booth did well with Groves. What did he do with Groves? What did he do with Groves? What did he achieve with Groves? What exactly did he achieve with Groves? Groves got stopped in the first fight by Froch. Groves left him, and then in the rematch, what happened? Groves got knocked out. Did he really do well with him? I don't know. And I did well with Hay. Bruce is a solid trainer. Well, according to you, he's solid. But I saw him on numerous occasions give poor instructions. He gave poor instructions to Mike Perez when he was behind on points. He just told Mike Perez to relax when he was fighting Bryant Jennings. 2, he gave Andy Lee an awful game plan to fight Billy Joe Saunders. He made Andy Lee, who's a puncher, box Billy Joe Saunders, who's a more superior boxer. What the hell was he doing that for? That's 2 game plans. And shall we talk about the David Hay game plan? Where David Hay fought Klitschko and was looking to just throw one overhand right? Is that what you call a solid trainer? Really? Okay. Do you know what I mean? So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. So this is what I'm talking about. Show me your resume. Show me what you've done. Not what people talk about, which is a myth. What you've actually done. And let's look at your resume closer. And let's see the fighters you've trained. Let's see what you've done with them in the corner. Let's see the instructions you've given. As opposed to what people think. You know, put people right about a few things. The next one's gonna upset a lot of people, but I don't care. Let's forget the Mayweather blueprint. The Mayweather blueprint was for Mayweather. Unique. Everybody's trying it, not working. And since Corona, it won't work. No. Because is the money going to be around for it? I don't think so. And Mayweather got away with it. You think they're going to allow someone like Mayweather, somebody to come along and do that like Mayweather did again? No. A-side, B-side. Well, that may last a bit, but I'd like to get rid of that. Unless it's really that significant, like one's a great champion and one guy is just a contender. Well, I get that, maybe. Champion, challenger, I get that. But when you're both contenders and you're talking A-side, B-side, forget it. Stop that. You're both contenders. You're both contenders. I don't care. You're both contenders. Maybe you're a former world champion, maybe, but you're still contenders. Champion, challenger, there should be a break there. A-side, B-side, fine. Unification bout, you're both champions. So, you know, that's something we're talking differently there. But this Mayweather thing of the Mayweather blueprint won't work. I don't believe it can work in this era. Post-COVID-19. Won't happen. Can't happen. I don't see Devin Haney doing that. Do you see anybody today being able to command and do the things that Mayweather did? No. And they're going to get wise. The money that was spent on, wasted money that was spent on GGG. Really? And Canelo, great fighter that he is, has he really got that crossover? Has he really got that crossover stardom about himself? Has he really got that personality? Well, the guy hardly speaks any English, chooses not to. Maybe Canelo's a good fighter. Are you going to call him he's got the X factor? I don't know about that. Nobody has the reflex and dexterity to pull off the shoulder roll effectively and counterpunch out of it like Mayweather. I know. People are trying to follow Mayweather instead of be themselves. They want to be the next Mayweather. It's not going to work in this era. I don't think economically you can pull it off this era. You have to be something else. Forget Ryan Garcia. Stop talking rubbish. Stop talking rubbish. But Ryan Garcia could be the next Oscar. Stop it. Stop rubbish talking. Man, Ryan Garcia. What has Ryan Garcia done so far in his career to suggest he could be the next Oscar? Oscar was a gold medal winner. Do you understand? Do you see Oscar's early career? Some of the guys Oscar fought in his early career would knock Ryan Garcia out. Behave yourself, man. Stop it. Stop it. You think Ryan Garcia could beat Ike Corte? Do you think Ryan Garcia could even stand up against Felix Trinidad? Oh my God. You think Ryan Garcia could have beaten Chavez? Oh my gosh. Oh my good Lord. I don't think Ryan Garcia could beat Arturo Gatti, to be honest. Behave yourself, man. Ryan Garcia, if he ain't reaching that potential. He ain't doing it. We need a wheelchair for GG. He needs to sit his ass down. Absolutely. Absolutely. Luke Campbell beats Garcia. I think so. Garcia's not that, man. You need to get your eyes tested. You need to get your eyes tested. Forget Ryan Garcia, man. Behave yourself. Heard is saying he will make White versus AJ before Fury versus AJ. He will do anything to have complete control. Hearn can say what the hell he wants. Hearn can say what the hell he wants. Why doesn't he try and make AJ versus Wilder? That's what the fans really wanted to see. Why doesn't he make AJ versus Wilder? We know next year's 2021, so they can make the fight. They are single-handedly responsible for why Wilder and Joshua never fought. Single-handedly blew 100 million. Those people, those accountants, that's unforgivable what they did. Never forgiven for that. Garcia's overhyped because of his social media. I know. And you got people like mouthpieces like Ruben Guerrero, who is the matchroom mouthpiece. I swear he says things to wind me up sometimes. Good evening, Doris Johnson. Doris Johnson. You gotta laugh, haven't you? If you don't laugh, you cry sometimes. Is Canelo leaving DAZN? Any updates from your end? I don't know. But if he does, I wouldn't be surprised. Nice way to get out of that contract as well, isn't it? If he left DAZN, I think they'd be screwed if he left them. Absolutely screwed. What next? Next up, this is something I hope happens soon. A YouTuber needs to get sued. You heard me say it, right? A YouTuber needs to get sued. I don't know which one, just one. Just one needs to get sued proper, right? Then we'll stop the misinformation, the false information, the narratives. What you want? YouTuber needs to get sued. I've been saying it for ages. A YouTuber needs to get sued. One that is stirring unnecessary trouble up. I'm not talking about any YouTuber that, instigators, causing problems for fighters, digging out fighters unnecessarily. So yeah, I would love to I'd love to see it, because I think if a YouTuber gets sued, then that would rock the whole of the YouTube community, and people will fall into line and understand. You can't go around just calling people PEDs and cheats and this and that. Need to get sued. LOL. DAZN would announce bankruptcy next day. Yeah, they probably would. That'd be so funny. Surprised they haven't done it yet. AJ will never fight Wilder. Eddie Hearns knows Joshua's stock would plummet too low if he loses to Wilder after Tyson beats him in the way he did. Yeah. Apparently, DAZN told Canelo he needs to take 50% the pay cut. Yep. Well, like I've said, this is no surprise to me. Big name shifting. Can see it happening. Sporting Icons is Matchroom sponsored. Well, you know what? You should be on the channel more often then. There are too many talkers and no cheese and onion walkers. That's the one. I'm telling you, YouTube, someone needs to get sued, and it needs to happen soon. It needs to happen soon. It'd be nice to happen before the end of this year. As Corona is, and you know where fighters are not getting as much income as possible? One of these fighters need to sue one of these people online. Sue them nice and good. Good. Make sure it's seen on YouTube, YouTube Live. Good. Get the contract out, because these people love to see contracts. Get the contract out and get them sued. Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful, nice. Clean. And away. That'd be nice. And then once that's done, then a lot of the bluster and a lot of noise will calm down, because people think, whoa, you know what? I better watch what I say on my channel, because I may get sued. Jake Paul actually annoyingly looks like he can fight. Would love to see him get KO'd. He did get KO'd in sparring. So he got KO'd in sparring. He looks half decent, but it's half decent for a YouTuber. Next statement. Right. I'm surprised LDVC hasn't been sued yet, especially as they're based in states. Yanks sue someone for looking at them the wrong way. Yeah, that is something they do say. They've got to be, I think they've got to find a point, and there's got to be a good, tangible point. But I think somebody's going to go overboard eventually and get sued. Another point here. Right. I listened to your analysis of Danny Garcia versus Errol Spence. I could have sworn you picked Amir Khan to beat Garcia. That was the reason I followed you. LOL. No, I think you're dreaming, my friend. I picked Garcia to knock Khan out. Sorry, I picked Garcia to knock Khan out. So I'm not sure where you're going with that one. The minute I saw, and I tell you how I knew Khan was going to get knocked out by Garcia is when I did the breakdown. I said Khan is going to get knocked out by Garcia because the left hook that hit Eric Morales is going to hit Khan on the chin. And when Khan said he was going to rush out there and try and knock Garcia out, and I saw how terrible Khan looked in sparring at that wildcard gym, I said Khan's going to get knocked out by him because Angel Garcia wound Khan up talking about the flying carpet. Right, and Khan got mad. He says, "I'm going to knock Garcia out." And that's when I knew Khan's head went in the game. And at that point there, I knew Khan was going to get knocked out by Garcia. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about. So don't talk rubbish. Hey, what's going on, my guy? That's all right. Well, somebody comes on my channel and starts talking Doris Johnson. How can I take you seriously? Come on, man. Behave yourself. Limited amount of educated fighters being paid according to their market worth. Right. This is another one. Clean up boxing. I think there should be only so many fights a fighter should be allowed. Listen, I think boxing's got to stop these mismatches as undercard fights. I think educated fights behind closed doors need to happen. I think a lot of these fights where guys get blown out and around and he's against a guy who's had 14 losses, 15 losses, needs to go behind closed doors. Needs to go behind closed doors. Needs to go behind closed doors. How many fights do you want to watch a guy being educated? And how can you call education a fight where you know a guy's been knocked out 10 times, your guy's going to fight him, and he'll be 11th time he gets knocked out? That's not an educating fight. Those kind of fights should be shown non-televised. So we're cleaning up boxing. So at least we get to see better fights. Okay, please keep the questions relevant to what I'm talking about. So fights must be selected certain TV deals. I'd like to see more fights for fighters who are educated fighting other educated fighters. That means we'll have more competitive fights, which makes for more competitive, which makes for better viewing, better pay-per-view cards. I don't really want to be seeing a guy who's got 1-0 fighting a guy that's got one fight and 11 losses. I don't really want to be seeing that. That's not what I want to see on a pay-per-view card. Everybody on that pay-per-view card needs to be matched nicely. That's a pay-per-view card. I'm not paying for that. It's crap. So, okay, let's move on to my next point. Oh, this one I think needs to happen in the UK. And you can say it was my idea. Like, you know, in cricket or in, I think, maybe basketball, where they get a pool of basketball players after in the college, and they pick them to join the NBA. I think the same thing needs to happen within boxing. I would like to see, listen to my idea, I would like to see the main promoters of boxing in the UK, Warren and Hearn, I would like to see them select from a pool of, check this, small hall fighters. Every year, they have to select 5 small hall fighters. That will be amazing. 5, maybe 10 small hall fighters. I don't know. 5 small hall fighters they must give a contract to. Every year. Yeah? So at the end of every year, there's a pool of fighters that the 2 promoters bid for, right? At the end of the year. And then that gives that fighter the opportunity to fight on TV shows to get much more awareness. And during that time, these small hall fighters, not only do they fight, but they've got to promote themselves by doing lots of social media stuff. So that can be part of their value. So their value can come to their social media, how much their Instagram followers, how many Facebook followers they've got, how many YouTube followers they've got. And then obviously their record, who they fought, who they've beat, what they've done in that time to get selected by the top promoters. So that would be, I think, would be amazing. So I wonder if you guys actually listen to what I'm saying. So that's it. I think small hall fighters, it'll be great for small hall fighters to get that. Thank you, Kenny. Pick a draft every year. Good idea. And don't forget fan zone booths, of course. So yeah, that would be brilliant. I think Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn can be live in the studio or live via Skype or live via Zoom. Hearn on one side, Warren on the other, and see how they pick their fighters. Let them both be in a room together and let's see them talk. Hearn likes time on TV. That Hearn on TV. Let's see him pick a fighter, right? In a room of fighters. Let's see who they both pick and why they pick them. That would be nice. And then see the progression of those fighters afterwards. That would be a great investment for small hall promoters, small hall fighters, and for every fighter that they get, a small hall fighter puts forward, the promoter gets a bit of money back in their pocket. Do you understand? So let's say, I don't know, they buy a fighter for, his market value might be 250,000. So maybe 50,000 of that goes back to the promoter. No questions asked. Money goes back to the promoter. 200,000, they buy the fighter, I don't know, whatever. Some money goes back to the promoter, and then they move on. That's what I think would be great. So a draft for small hall shows across the country. Draft would be amazing. Yes, BT Sports, where are you listening? See, you people don't have, the people in BT and Matchroom, they can't think outside the box. They're robots. They all think the same way. They went to university and they can't see outside the box. Fan zone. Draft. That would be imagine sitting down, yeah, for a draft, and your guy, your mate, the guy that you went to school with, or the guy that you go and see fight at a small hall, is getting picked up by Eddie Hearn or Matchroom or Frank Warren live, and you're sitting there waiting to see if they're going to get picked and they get selected. You imagine that, and get selected, and then they say, right, you've been selected, and you'll be fighting on Sky on this night, or you'll be fighting on BT at this night. Here it is, and there's a picture of them being promoted, and there's a fighter there in a BT set. I don't know, the picture of them there. It'd be amazing. Be amazing. And then at the end of the year, they can do a celebration for those fighters that got picked. And then what you could have is after that draft, the pool, if they're both in the same weight division, then you can have a face-off between Hearn's fighter and Warren's fighter for the draft cup. That'd be amazing. I could turn boxing round. You know I could turn boxing round. That adds more drama to the sport. Good idea, Ingram. Thank you. Proper. Get the Matchroom and Queensbury narrative going from get-go. That's what I'm talking about. But these guys don't know anything. They don't know anything. Bid per fighter makes it much fairer than one promoter getting all the GP squad. There you go. There you go. Now, that would be nice. Nice. That'll do nicely. So, again, you can dislike my videos all you want, but the bottom line is this. You can't knock. I'm trying to bring something positive to boxing. I'm not just here slagging people off or being I'm trying to give you positive things for the sport going forward. I want to always be doing this, but here's some ideas for the future. I got my own stuff to be getting on with, but as that time dwindles down, I'm going to talk about this stuff and talk about how the sport can be improved. And I want microphones. I want microphones on these trainers. I want microphones on these trainers. I don't want to be listening to Adam Smith during the break. I want to listen to his corners. I want to hear I want microphones on these trainers. I want to hear what instructions these trainers are giving these fighters. I want to know what I'm looking at. I don't want to hear Adam Smith or Johnny Nelson or Matthew Macklin or anybody else for that matter, or Barry. I don't want to hear nobody during. I just want to hear what the trainers are saying. I want to hear what the trainer is saying to the fighter. I want to hear what the fighter is saying to the trainer. That's what I want to do. No. I want to hear that. I don't want to hear no more nonsense of, well, you know, that was a tough round. This could be. I don't want to hear what your opinion is. I want to hear what the facts are. So when we start talking about these trainers, we can say, well, last time Joe Bloggs, the trainer, said for him to go out there and do X, Y. See, everyone talks about what Tunde Jai said to Anthony Yard. Go out there and get him, yeah? And everyone jumps on that statement. Do you remember when another famous trainer told David Price to go for a walk? Go for a walk. The man was out on his feet and he was told to go for a walk. Come on, is that boxing strategy? Is it? My gosh. If we could get steroids and manipulating gloves out of the sport, I'd real happy personally. A lot of British fighters get stuck in cycle of fighting bin men and getting thrown into wolves. Yes, don't want to see it. Then the one way to do that is if they're going to fight them bin men, let them fight them bin men behind closed doors. Coach Chris, do you really believe in the whole Tyson Fury glove business? Wilder just got dealt with, unfortunately. Well, I think that's... People saying British talent waning. We need to fix things early in fighters' careers. Well, the way you fix them, you need to put these plans into process because they're all money makers. I have a plan in process, and it's a big money maker. Big money maker. I've got a few things I've got to iron out first. But yeah, I've got a big money maker, huge money maker. It could turn sport on its head, and I don't see anybody doing it at the moment. And nobody will be able to do it the way I'm doing it at the moment. That's not an arrogant statement. It's just I'm understanding it because I've done it for so many years and see so much success from it. So yeah, I have a moneymaker. Just now looking to get a couple of people on board with it. But that's it, really. We're almost good to go. And I'd like to thank the sport of boxing for it because it definitely has helped a lot. Yeah. I think you'll know people. I talk, and then you will find that people listen to what I've said and they try and take it on board. But definitely, I'd love to see that pull for the small hall. I don't even like calling it small hall. I think it's very undermining when you call it a small hall, because some of them small hall fights are better than half of them pay-per-view cards. I'm telling you. So yeah, all right. I think I'm done here. Am I done? I think I'm done. Unless there's anything else anybody wants to talk to me about. I think it's pretty obvious to anyone that's looking objectively at Fury did something funny to his gloves. Well, the third fight's coming up. I hope it happens. I hope it happens before the end of the year. That'd be nice, but we'll see. Oh, on a final note, does anybody know in the history of boxing where two brothers have gone to blows with one another? Like one brother's fought another brother. And would it be viable for little Charlo to fight big Charlo? Like, we always wondered what would happen if Klitschko fought Klitschko. What would happen if Charlo fought Charlo? Could that happen? Would it work? I don't know if he had padded removed or object, or maybe had banned horsehair glove, but it's possible to just all of a sudden become a puncher. That's true. Wilder didn't blow. The Fury didn't blow Wilder out there, so it's not far fetched seeing Wilder getting beat up after seeing him wobbled against Molina. Not like Tyson one punch KO'd Wilder. Fury, Blood and Wild. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if Fury loses to Wilder in a rematch, what people will say then. Bludgeoned. Yeah, well. All right, I'll stop it right there. Dante's boxing got you going crazy out there, brother. There's too many checks and commissions to get away with the tampering. Yeah, so Fury, who couldn't care Pianeta or Wallin, all of a sudden has bleeding from the ear. Oh, okay, yeah, believe that. There were stories, or there was talk about how there were particular photographs of Fury's gloves being taken down by the photographers are told to take down certain photographs. I don't know how true that is, but if that's the case, then that doesn't look good. But anyway, enough of that. I hope you enjoyed this show. Don't forget to rate, subscribe. Yeah, here we go. You see the pictures online. There you go. See? Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments. For those of you watching us across YouTube, thank you for watching. Those watching on Facebook, BWTM Online, thank you for watching. And those of you watching on my page, yeah, thank you for watching. I'm out. Have a really great night.